The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, this is the official post-fight review for Amanda Serrano versus Danielle Bermudez. Amanda Serrano, she's out here handing out rib dinners. She gets the stoppage in the middle of round 9. Devastating body shot combination to put Danielle Bermudez on the canvas. Had her wincing from the body shots. It was very, Bernard Hopkins, like Oscar De La Hoya-esque, if you guys remember that fight. For my boxing heads out there, if you guys remember that fight, you know what I'm talking about. Great fight all the way around, and I'll say this, the scores were pretty wide, and I thought Serrano was definitely winning. But watching this fight and watching how it played out, this fight reminded me a lot of the fight that happened in 2019 in the welterweight division between Earl Spence Jr. and Sean Porter. You had one fighter in Bermudez, tough, rugged, likes to come forward like a Sean Porter, against a fighter in Serrano who had more tools, had more footwork, had more foot speed, had a better sense of their positioning in the ring, and was the more precise puncher. Very representative of what we saw from Earl Spence when he fought Sean Porter. To me, this fight was a more dominant version of that fight, and it was a great fight for not just women's boxing, but boxing at large, because you had Amanda Serrano. I mean, she's running out of accolades, and I think there's a serious discussion right now in women's boxing that has to be had as to if I know Clarissa Shields. Everybody wants to say she's the GOAT, but I mean, Amanda Serrano, she's giving Clarissa Shields every last bit of run for her money possible for that pound for pound number one spot, because she's doing unprecedented things. She's 7 division champion. She's unified champion at 126. She's the first fighter in the history of Puerto Rican boxing to be a 7 division champion. She's stopped 12 times in her career. She stopped an opponent for the first time, and that includes Danielle Bermudez, who, by the way, Danielle Bermudez was probably the best fighter at 122. She's coming up from 122 to 126 to fight her, and the only fighter that had ever defeated Danielle Bermudez recently, most recently was the great Jessica Bopp. And if you're up on your women's boxing, Jessica Bopp is like the TBE of Argentinian women's boxing. She's that damn good. So it was a great win for Amanda Serrano. And I've had the honor to watch a lot of Amanda Serrano, in different weight classes at different stages of her career. I've seen her in fights where she is a straight brawler. I've seen her in fights where she's a straight boxer. But at 126, this seems to be, she seems to have underwent the Sinisa Estrada effect. And what I mean when I say that is like Sinisa Estrada, and shout out to her. We'll get to her in a second, but she's underwent the Sinisa Estrada effect, to where like she was used to fighting in weight classes that were bigger than her natural weight class, so she fought differently when she was at higher weight classes. But now that she's fighting at a lower weight class, you're seeing every last bit of her skills on display. And at 126, she can be a boxer, puncher. She can be whatever the hell she wants to be and look great doing it. So, just overall a great performance from Serrano. I love the way that early in the fight, Bermudez was landing some really good hard shots. She was coming forward. She was rugged. She came to win. And I just love the composure from Serrano, to walk her into these counters. In boxing, to get real technical. In boxing, there's a thing called an L step. An L step is basically when somebody's approaching you and you kind of take you can either when you move backwards, you move like an L, in an L kind of like movement. So she was taking this L step a lot. So a lot of times Bermudez would be coming forward, right? And whenever Bermudez would come and try to cut the ring off, Amanda would take an L step to her right. So she would be like here, and then she'd be here. And then that was a form of her setting a trap with the straight left hand, punches to the body, all kinds of great things from Serrano. And just precise punching, precision punching. And like sometimes, every now and then, you gotta be reminded of how great certain fighters are. And tonight, like, I was watching Amanda Serrano, and I was just reminded of how amazing she is from a technical standpoint, from a skill set standpoint. I think if we're talking about pure skill set in women's boxing right now, I mean, it's hard to argue that she's not the best fighter in women's boxing. I mean, I know you got Sinisa Estrada, but Sinisa Estrada doesn't have quite the resume just yet to put her all the way up there. I think she'll get there at some point, because y'all know. I think the world of Sinisa Estrada, and she did a great job with the commentary tonight, you know, and she showed the world tonight what I always knew just talking to her as a friend. You know, Sinisa Estrada is one of the brightest minds in boxing, and male or female, just one of the brightest minds in boxing. You can hear that in her technical breakdowns, and I think she has a future in commentating. You know, who knows? Maybe one day we'll form the untouchable commentating duo. That'd be great. But like, I think she'll get there one day. But right now, from a technical standpoint, I think Amanda Serrano's got it all. You know, she's got the ability to slug, to bang, to box on the back foot, and she showed it all in this fight against a very good opponent. I mean, for those of you who don't know about Daniel Bermudez, let me put y'all on game, okay? Daniel Bermudez pretty much has been dominating women's boxing, you know, at 122. Obviously, the talent pool isn't the best. She did have a good win against Mariana Juarez, who's a fantastic fighter. It's not easy beating a Mariana Juarez when she beat her at 118. But like, this fight, just to put it into like a context where people could understand, this fight was like the equivalent to like in women's boxing, at least it was a similar scenario and the equivalent to like a Wilfredo Gomez taking on a Salvador Sanchez. You know, a fighter who's a dominant fighter in one weight class coming up to the next weight class, take on the number one guy. That's what this was in women's boxing, and it was a great fight. You know, I think if Serrano wasn't such a smart fighter and was less composed, this would have been a better fight, because Bermudez was hitting her with some really hard shots. She was getting her attention early on. She was even able to move her back sometimes, but Serrano, she stayed disciplined in her game plan. She picked the right shots, going to the stomach, countering, throwing jabs up top, jabs downstairs, and it was just a complete performance. She showed tonight why she is the only person in boxing that could be called the real deal after Evander Holyfield and get away with it. And she is what her nickname implies she is. She is the real mother loving deal. So just a great fight. If you missed it, it was another great card on Ring City USA. You know, like I said again, Sinisa Estrada. I mean, I know she's done commentary in the past for Golden Boy. I never had a chance to hear her commentary for Golden Boy, but this is my first time tonight, and she's a natural. She's got a future in commentary when she retires. So you know, great stuff from her, and just a great night of boxing overall. So yeah, that's my little synopsis on Amanda Serrano versus Daniel Bermudez. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'd love to hear from you guys. So comment down below. Make sure you take the time to subscribe. Like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.